Welcome to Marvel Month on That Region. Now let's roll that intro. This is not gonna work. There, that's better. Okay guys, so let's get talking about Jessica Jones Season 2. And first off, let me give you a little recap on what I thought of for Jessica Jones Season 1. It was an amazing show on how it was shot, how everything really played out in the show. And really, it told a story without any sounds at all. And when you fully see how this affected her and how she has risen up from being a victim to facing her assailant, I guess it would be a victor? Nah, I don't know. Someone comment down below what would he be. But her assailant, and having to rise up against him, and finally getting enough strength to do so. So, I thought Season 1 was amazing because, like I said, the cinematography was real close up in a lot of scenes. Real uncomfortable on how it looked. And really gave you the sense of urgency, the sense that something is wrong. And also by the way the colors were, you can tell something is off by not having that bright of colors. It was dulled down more, had darker, more muted colors besides purple, which became a big part of it if you knew the villain. If you haven't seen Season 1 yet, go watch that, and also go watch Season 2. So, when I went to go check out this show for Season 2, I was a little hesitant. I was worried they were going to ruin the show, like they did with Daredevil Season 2, or how they messed up with Iron Fist, or just make it boring like Punisher. But hey, next week is when we're doing the Punisher review. And I was afraid that it wasn't going to be the same. Boy, was I wrong. And let me explain why. Jessica Jones Season 2 builds up on everything that was set in Season 1, and even expands more on it. We did know about a few of the characters' backgrounds, like Trish was an alcoholic and had to go to rehab. She cut away from her mother, and never really touched on in that season. In this season, there is a storyline that goes on about her addiction and her relapsing and what's going on with her, and then revealing why she wants to take these drugs, like the pills that Nuke takes. And Nuke is basically the guy who takes the red pill and the blue pill. I just remember his name from the comics, so I'm calling him Nuke. I forgot what, I don't know, I think his name was Stewie. In the show, I don't know. Real unforgettable for me. Real forgettable for me. And then we get more on her. We get more on Jessica's background, from the point that she dropped out of college to right before Killmonger, explaining on how her life has always been unsettling ever since her parents died. She has always had to be the person to stay strong and stable and help others. And you really feel for her and every problem she goes through. In this season, it builds up to it more. And really plays into the idea with the villain in here being basically having the same powers as Jessica, but being stronger and being evil. She will go out and kill people. Seeing the line between Jessica, is she that person? Is she the person that will kill? Because at the end of Season 1, if you did see it, and big spoiler here, she kills the Purple Man who was her assailant. And it's built up on the story. When she goes to a meeting for her assistance on there, for anyone to hire her, if they want someone killed, they'll ask her because they know she killed someone once. Well, twice, but one time by her own free will. And yeah, it was interesting to see that point there and see how this was built on there. And once this villain was introduced, it made it a lot more interesting because this is what Jessica could be. She could give in to this primal urge. And it's a battle between the id and the ego. Simply enough, the id is the animal instinct. For this one is rage, vengeance, the need to kill what stands in their way. The want, well, not the need, the want to kill. And Jessica would stand as the ego. And I know people are going to say Sigmund Freud is a quack. I know that, but this is a good way to really explain without making a long video explaining how it goes. And the ego is your humane side. Well, your super ego is who you are, who you choose to be, along with your ego, who is the human side of you, the side that wants to follow society's rules. And Jessica stands for the super ego and the ego by representing herself in a different way, but also being more formed towards society, while the villain in this show is the id, who follows her animal instincts. And it's very interesting to see that point of view be built up in there. And that's not the only one. There's also one between Trish and Jessica, which is simply enough, while Jessica has the powers, she knows how it is to live with them and how afraid you can be. You know, how fearful she is of her powers and what she can do with them. While Trish sees it as a way you can help people. Yet, Jessica doesn't do anything. Jessica just sits there and decides that I'm not going to help anyone. And you see this point of the 2 points of view that argue each other, and it's amazing to see this. And oh my god, it's just amazing seeing these points, seeing how Trish really falls down this rabbit hole and ruins her relationship with Jessica, and it's amazing. I can't tell you this enough, but goddamn, this show, as many lines as it draws, as many times as it explains everything to it, it is amazing to see how they bring up these points of views. And there's even a scene where Jessica, well, she's investigating a house. The man comes in there and starts beating her. She knows he's a killer. She found out that he was a prison guard. And he was basically having inmates killed and making it seem like suicides or forcing them to the point of suicides. And was keeping their badges as his trophies. Well, simply enough, when he started beating on her, she fought back because he was kicking her, he had her subdued, but still beating on her, still attacking her and possibly going to kill her. She fights back and has to kill him, but realizes something. She's going to prison for that. She will go to prison for that, so she has to stage it as a suicide. Which is an interesting scene to see how she did this. But it brings up a good point that really is fought through the whole season here. That is Jessica that killer. Is Jessica the id, the one who just goes out on every instinct she has. The one that will not care for others. And you see this battle pop up, because this is when you bring in the purple guy again as her sort of evil Jiminy Cricket. Just standing behind there, and when he is in there, when you see her react to it, it's the same feel of unsettling. Because there's never just one, and the way he speaks, it is so strange. The only problem I will say about it is I would have loved if they took their time, and for the reflections you saw, there were none. So it was just like, he'd be standing over here, there's a mirror right here, and there's nothing there, except what we got in the show was... See? And yeah, it was interesting to see that. But that's my real main gripe about this show. And oh my god, here's the thing. Sorry, I didn't know that would fall. You have to watch this season twice. I had to also, because once you figure out who the villain is, once you figure out everything that goes on in this show, you will look back and see these little points that are like, okay, this is strange, but hey, it's going to build up to a point. And how much it reveals who this villain is, who this person is. And it's simply enough great to do. For this season, I will say it's a must-watch for any Marvel fan. If you love Jessica Jones Season 2, go watch this one. And simply enough, if you want a great experience, go binge watch 1 and binge watch 2. All together, it's an amazing show, and you can go watch it on Netflix right now. Also, one thing I will say is I loved how they added in the little hints and nods. Simply enough, they put in a couple hints that mutants were popping in there, because they told a story on how Jessica got her powers and how the main villain got her powers, and it was because they were editing genes to bring people back from the brink of death, because after the car wreck, Jessica was... almost spoiled it for you. Jessica was almost dead, and they edited her genes to make her alive again, basically to restore her back to her usual self. but because it's something that was in her coding, in her gene coding, it gave her this power, this super strength. And also they go to Winchester. They go to the town of the X-Men in the original comics, and also in the movies. They put these wink and nods like, yeah, mutants. And I was so pumped for that when I heard those Easter eggs in there. I'm like, yes! Bring them in! And also, because here's the thing, I was watching this with a buddy of mine, and he did not like this one character, Wizard, who basically is in there for like one episode, or maybe two. And simply enough, he says, I am a person who runs real fast. He went through the same process as Jessica. This is not a character built for the show. This was actually a character that was in 1940s around Captain America, who was, at the time, whatever Marvel was at the time. Not Time Warner, that was, something, I forgot what they were. That was their response to The Flash, who was Jay Garrick at the time. And he even showed up in the early times of the Avengers. One reason why I know that is most of the time I'm reading comics when growing up, I was reading old issues that uncle, family members, buddies, and buddies' family members had. And it was just interesting seeing this character. But yeah, like I said, this show is a must-watch for anyone out there. If you love Jessica Jones Season 1, go see Jessica Jones Season 2. And really, tell me, what did you think of this season? What did you think of the twist villain? Did you know about it before it happened? And guys, also, if you liked what you saw today, make sure to hit subscribe. And also, if you got any suggestions for a future review, go down below in the comment section and tell me. Also, if you really want to know when new videos are coming out, go to my Twitter. We've been having a few problems when people have hit the bell icon and not getting notifications that our new video is out. So I decided I'm going to be posting all announcements for any video twice on Twitter the day it's released. So go check us out there. It's at The Reject 160, link down below, and also on the About page of the YouTube channel. And if you're uncertain, somewhere around here should be a playlist of all the Reject reviews we have done so far. Go check those out. But if you are certain, go click on Cap Shield here, because this should be where the subscribe icon is right now. So with that being said, keep calm and geek on, and I will see you here next time, guys.